This just makes me worry about the whole dynamic of the team if the head coach and the the starting quarterback are not on the same page. So, yeah, just say, yeah, everything's cool. Honestly, he's most likely going to be working with the offensive coordinator anyway, most of the time. I think that's how it works. So, Nick's basically just going to be calling whether we punt the ball or kick a field goal or go for it.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. The fourth down decisions. I mean, that's the game day stuff is going to be his thing.
Basically, for those who don't know, this is WIP right now, Philadelphia. This content is trash, basically. That we have on the local radio stations now. It's trash. Today, what they're talking about is you got this guy, Joe Giglio, on with Hugh Douglas, the former great defensive end for the Eagles. They're discussing whether or not they need to hear Jalen Hurts endorse Nick Sirianni. And the host, he's saying that if he endorses him, that makes him feel better about the season, that they're going to win. What's crazy about it, and Hugh Douglas is saying no, and this is what I agree with, is that winning cures all of that. What gets me is they both know those are the facts. Because if Jalen Hurts go out there and say, Nick Sirianni is the greatest coach I ever worked under, first of all, you're going to know he's lying. Then secondly, if they go out there and lose after he said that, it ain't going to mean nothing. That's the thing about it. And they act like if he says all these things they want to hear, that they're going to stop talking about it. They're not going to stop talking about it because the only reason any of this stuff is a problem, let's face it, is because the Eagles ended the season horribly last year. They lost the last 6 games, something like that. And they lost in the playoff game. Losing is the core reason for all of these problems and all of these discussions. That's the bottom line. The way that changes is you start winning games. The coach will get along with the quarterback. Quarterback get along with the coach. The receivers get along with the quarterback. All that stuff fixes itself when you win because winning is the only objective in sports. Everybody gets paid. Fans happy. The whole environment's happy. That's the way it works. So really, you need to focus on winning. Personally, I had no problem with the answer Jalen Hurts gave about Nick Sirianni. He didn't say anything bad. He just didn't give him a flying endorsement, and he doesn't have to. What's he got to do that for? Diane Rossini actually, last week when asked about it, she said that the relationship between Nick and Jalen Hurts is going to be a work in progress. And the reason being is that they have very different views the way they saw the offense last year. She said that last year's offense, what we saw, even the 10-1 start, the grind, which was a grind, she said that was all Nick Sirianni. That's crazy. She said all of it was him. So really, Brian Johnson, who was the offensive coordinator, according to her, it wasn't him. Even though he the one that got fired, it wasn't him. It was really Nick Sirianni who did that. So if Brian Johnson, who was an offensive coordinator, is a guy that Jalen Hurts knew since he was a young boy, 5 years old and all that, really didn't run the offense. But rather it was Nick Sirianni really behind everything. There's a great chance that Jalen Hurts lost respect for Nick Sirianni. I also believe, based on what I was watching last year, that not only did he lose respect for Nick Sirianni, but also A.J. Brown lost respect for him. Devontae Smith lost respect for him. Kelsey, possibly, deciding I'm out of here, lost respect for him. Though Kelsey's always going to be the guy to say the right thing in the camera. That's just the way Jason is. You know what I mean? You're not going to see how he really feels about these things. Professional, you're old school, you know. That's what I believe is really going on. Jalen Hurts probably expected this dude to get fired. Nick Sirianni because he's looking at it like that's the real problem. As long as he's still here, how we going to fix the problem? That's the thing. Now, what the Eagles are going to do is, I think they're giving all the reins to Kellen Moore. So what's really important is Kellen Moore's relationship with Jalen Hurts. That's really what matters. That's really what matters out here. So I don't get what these dudes are talking about. I just think they don't have any real content right now because the Phillies get a little bit of buzz around here, but nothing gets buzz like the Eagles get buzz in Philadelphia on sports radio. Like, they talk about the Phillies, I barely even tune in. I barely tune into these guys for real anyway. Because these guys are trash, man, and corny. They rarely break down football in a thorough way. I could go to YouTube and get a better breakdown. Sometimes from people that you would think aren't professional. I get a better breakdown from them than I'm getting from, sports radio. These guys about drama and BS and all that. And some of y'all who came to my channel early on when I was exclusively doing Eagles, y'all know I'm every week talking about the Eagles during the season. I'm not with the drama, the bullshit, whether or not Jalen Brown and AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts getting together, whether or not AJ Brown and Devontae Smith get together. I don't care about none of that, man. I care about wins and losses. And I care about what's happening in the front office. And right now, according to Rossini, all that horrible shit last year was Nick Sirianni, and I believe it because we've seen this show before. Nick Sirianni, when he was a rookie coach with the Eagles were like, 2-6 to start the season, something like that? And Nick Sirianni was the one.
Anybody on the air need to hear you say that, oh my God, we're going to work this out and we're going to have a love fest? No!
See, the fans ain't feeling that bullshit he coming with, man. Nick Sirianni, when he started off as a rookie coach, the team was 2-6. They had to take power from Nick Sirianni and give it to Shane Steichen. That's what turned the season around. Jalen Hurts is cool with him as long as he's not calling plays. The ball is horrible. Last year he wanted to do a whole bunch of wide receiver screens. You got Devontae Smith out there blocking linebackers. Dumb shit. Blocking safeties. He gets nicked up in the game. And the other thing Nick Sirianni used to do, this was part of their defensive philosophy. The Eagles, anytime the Eagles got up in the game by 14 points, Nick Sirianni was a believer and a proponent of this idea that you start milking the clock, and you milk the clock by playing off of the receivers and stuff like that. Damn near every time, no matter who we played, teams were making comebacks. Every week. And all of these things contributed to the players losing respect for him. And then that manifested itself in those last 6 weeks, especially when this dude was totally unprepared to deal with the 49ers, to deal with the Cowboys in that second game. It was all the players getting that stuff done, man. Then Nick Sirianni, he deflected all the blame from himself. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of Brian Johnson. I'm going to get rid of Desai, all these types of people who I don't know how good they were or not. But I know that Nick Sirianni was the one who wanted, every time the Eagles have a lead that was more than 14, he's the one that wanted them to call the dogs off. He said it. That's part of his philosophy. Darius Slay admitted that on his podcast. That's Nick Sirianni. This bullshit and be the fucking coach right now. That's the reality. And these dudes want Jalen Hurts to endorse him as if endorsing him is going to win games. That's not going to win ball games, homie. Endorsing him is not going to win ball games. They're going to win if Kellen Moore and the defensive coordinator handle their business. Period. Period. That's what's going to do it. Nick Sirianni's not the guy, man. He's not going to be the difference. And I don't know why they keep acting like he is. Nick Sirianni is trash, bro. He's trash. And it is what it is. And that's all I got on that, man. But for Eagles content, for real, and we're going to be dealing with all NFL in general. Your boy right here. We're going to have Eagles content. We're going to, predict games. We're going to do post-game for sure, Eagles games. And we're going to cover the whole NFL as well. So, we're working on all that, man. But, I see y'all. Peace out.